Yo, what's up guys? It's Lionel the Builder back again with another video. I just saw that TechLead dropped a new video called Tech is Dead, I'm Done. I feel like 90% of the time he's trolling, but interesting title. Figured let me watch this and react to it, see what it's all about, and stop it, give my takes. I usually like to argue against his points, but let's see what he's talking about. Let's get into it.
Alright, poor people, I'm back. That's right, here to provide you my worldly wisdom on how to become successful, make some serious money out here. And the first thing to understand is, whatever it is you're doing, just stop. Right? You may have noticed I've stopped doing anything productive. Over the past few months, I haven't released a single video because I just realized that it's just totally pointless to try to do anything nowadays when the government is inflating massive amounts of money, right? Like, you're out here trying to earn your dough, and then the government is just printing billions, trillions of dollars out there, just making this money out of thin air to dilute your work. They're just extracting all of your value. So why even bother? Why try?
Perfect time to stop it. I'm just gonna say that's why it's good for you to do what you actually love to do versus putting money first, which while we all need money to survive, money is nice. He's kind of got a point with it being deflationary, and if you can, man, you got to find a way to love what you're doing and also make money at the same time. But you know, common sense, right? But you never know, man. Some people could not know that.
It's a lot like being on the Titanic and then trying to study Java while the ship is sinking, or rearranging chairs doing your lead code, and just stop. Okay, right? Just stop. It's over. I know we all feel this need to try to be productive, work hard, hustle, grind. We're addicted to the pain, the struggle of putting in the hard work, but sometimes you mistake motion for action. And in this world of ADHD, the best thing you can do, the contrarian move, is to just do nothing. Just stop moving. Can anybody just do that? Hold still. Because the more you move, the more energy you're going to waste, and the faster you're going to die. You're wasting your own resources out here. You're gonna have to pay more for food. So
that would be nice if not doing anything wasn't completely depressing. I don't know if anybody has been fortunate enough to be able to not do anything for a couple months or like a month or two. It's not fun at all, man. I was thinking about that earlier today, about how the universe, I feel like nature does not support stagnation at all. And while there's a lot of problems in the world and stuff like that, I still see that in certain realms things are moving forward and getting kind of cooler, if you really think about it. If I think about what the world was like before I was born, and while this could be a meaningless thing, but I think about like Mario, Super Nintendo, and then I think about a game like Elden Ring or Skyrim. I know not everybody cares about video games, but you can kind of like take that same example and move it around to whatever it is that you are into. Now, depending on the type of person you are, you could look at this world as being completely dystopian, like we're all just trapped in some attention sucking matrix right now. But at the same time, like, we don't really have another option here. Like, I'm all about playing with the cards that I'm dealt, playing with the hand that I'm dealt, right? And when I like look at the options and I look at like doing nothing, or you know, turning everything off, like, that just seems boring to me. You know what I mean? Like, I'm gonna be bored and depressed if I try and go that route. I'm more so about like gaining new skills. Like, hey, wherever I spawn in the world, whatever time I spawn in the world and what's going on, I'm like gonna look around and try to play within the rules of the game, even if I see that it's bullshit. You know, what else are you gonna do? Like, we're all gonna die one day, right? We're all going to not be remembered one day. If you think about it, like, how many people, like, what's the percentage of people who are remembered forever? And even our idea of forever is not forever at all. And what do I say when I mean that? I'm talking about like the people who built the pyramids. Nobody knows what happened around those times, and it's I'm talking about the pyramids before Cleopatra, like tens of thousands of years before Cleopatra. Nobody knows who was living around then, and that will come a time again. But depending on what you think, it's like do what you want with the time that you have. And you can either like be a depressive, like, unless that's fun for you, like, if not doing anything, you can be okay. If I could be okay not doing anything, I would not do anything. If I honestly, like, I would not care. But I have tried that already. And I'm at my happiest when I'm attempting, when I'm building, when I'm organizing something, when I'm growing in some way, when I'm evolving in some way. And I have a feeling that the people who come across my videos are the same way.
So you may be wondering what's new. Nothing. Absolutely nothing is new around here. I've been sitting around doing nothing, just staring at the blank screen all day. Because there's no work to do, really, except to just wait. I'm waiting for Bitcoin to get to $1 million, actually, because it's my only salvation around here.
I also have crypto, just in case. So I agree with that. Get you some crypto if you don't, man, just in case. You don't want to miss that boat, just in case. But keep doing everything else, though.
It's the only thing that can save me. And I've recognized that fact, whereas you have not. Many people have not. And they're still out there pretending, trying to struggle, trying to do something just to keep themselves busy. You can work or not. Doesn't really matter. It's really optional. It's not going to move the needle here, though. The most important thing when you're sinking on the Titanic ship is really your positioning. You want to get to a life raft, if at all possible, because the whole ship is done. And look, I get it. I've been gone for a while. And you may be under the impression that I've just been slacking off around here with the lack of any new video content. You may think that I've just been hiking the Hawaiian Islands, going on Mexican cruises, or exploring Japan like I am now. And, well, I suppose you would be right. But you would be highly mistaken to think that I'm unproductive. In fact, I've been more productive than I've ever been in my whole entire life, more productive than most programmers certainly. What have I been doing? I have been huddling, diamond handing, which is an incredibly difficult skill because it requires me to read news, reread news, and continue to convince myself to just sit still and do nothing instead of trading, buying, selling, getting in and out of positions. Sometimes the best thing to do is to just do nothing.
Let's not forget that he's rich, bro. He did this, he scammed like $1 million or something like that out of his followers with that coin that he did. Let's not forget about that. Okay, so he's speaking from a perspective of somebody who came up off of scamming all of his viewers. No one should forgive him for that. No one should let him get away with that and forget that happened. I just see that like his head is cut off.
And yes, that is considered work as well. It's not about how hard you work, but about how smart you work. Don't be addicted to your own pain and suffering. It is not required and certainly not a prerequisite to success by any means. In fact, the path to success is often fun and easy. Have you ever noticed how everyone seems to tell you to work hard, grind harder, put in the hours, wake up early, but nobody ever tells you...
He's basically saying run a scam, get rich, and then do nothing. Because there's no way that he would be walking on this bridge and stuff like that if he did not, for one, become a successful YouTuber and then do that. Like, we're all going to buy my coin and get rich, and then dump on the head of everyone who bought his coin. I did not buy it because I saw that coming from a mile away. But I just want to point that out, man. This guy is like a jerk for that. You know what I mean?
What to actually work on, except to maybe go to the gym and somehow this is going to make you successful. Because nobody knows what to actually do. There's nothing to do. There's no actual work for anyone to do around here. What do you want me to do? Build you a little app? Some little stupid mini game? In-game monetization? Microtransactions? You want me to make you a blog? And this idea of work was really a figment of the last era. But hard work never equals success. You see, I know you. I understand you programmer tech bros out there. Disgusting know-it-all scumbags. We're the same. Actually, We're not. I'm way better. The world is now flooded with computer science degrees. Everyone's got one. I think computer science graduates have tripled within the last decade, and companies are now laying everybody off because they just don't need these useless degrees anymore. And what's really happened actually is we've moved on from the knowledge economy. Rationality, merit, science, none of these things really matter anymore in today's era. Actually, we're entering this post-science, late-stage capitalism era where mostly it's just about power. If you have power, then you get what you want, and screw the science, right? Ignore that. You can manipulate the data. By now, people have realized how to game the system in order to achieve the results that they desire. And beyond that, what's really happened is, I believe we have reached peak technology, actually. We invented what is essentially digital drugs, digital opioids, which is like short-form video, TikToks. And that has really obsoleted the need for any future technological innovation. People don't need any more apps or games when they've become couch potatoes. What more do digital drug addicts need? After all, they're totally content stewing in front of their videos. And these short videos and TikToks really provide people with everything. They tell them how to think, what to do, where to go, what to buy. And so what's happened is, even with something as innovative as Apple's Vision Pro VR goggles, with all of that technology, nobody even cares anymore. Because we've moved on past the knowledge economy. We are now in an attention economy where the number one skill is not STEM. Nobody cares about STEM. The number one skill is your ability to gain attention, right? To draw attention in this world. And if you're able to do that, you'll be able to succeed in the new attention economy. If you can't, if all you know is some STEM degree, right, science or something, then you're going to fail. Nobody cares about that. The science doesn't even matter. Nobody cares about the science. It's totally fabricated. Nobody believes any of the science or data or any of the research papers. Science has become a means of manipulation. Just trust the science. And yet, there have even been recent reports of 11,000 peer-reviewed scientific papers being retracted as science has faced an existential crisis. More than 70% of researchers have tried and failed to reproduce another scientist's experiments. And if you want to truly understand the extent to which science is fabricated, you can check out The Real Anthony Fauci by RFK Jr. It's this book that actually claims the entire HIV industry was fabricated to fund Dr. Fauci's little political games and corporate interests in order to funnel money to his friends. What matters more in this world isn't the data, but instead it's having some big influential celebrity voicing an opinion, and whatever that opinion is becomes truth. It becomes fact. And so that's why the little computer program you're working on out there, the little app or website or whatever stupid thing you're coding, is going to be totally ignored and nobody even cares. You see, what people should do is just relax and sit back like me. You could work, but you're going to get laid off one way or another. Tesla laying off another 7,000 people reportedly starting in June. What these companies do is first they hire you, and then they burn and churn. They threaten to fire you, making you work evenings and weekends, extracting maximum value, milking you for everything that you've got. And then you get fired one way or another in the end, and you lose the equity that you may have been building into that company. They just say, hey, you know what, we don't need you anymore, sorry. Bye. Bye. And the other thing I think these tech...
Not gonna lie, he's got some points there, and I'm trying to point out where he's wrong. I am having a hard time pointing out where he's wrong, because this definitely is an attention economy. Maybe I'm too optimistic, though, to think that it's gonna be like that forever. You know, I think that eventually we're not going to be couch potatoes forever. We're going to, like, you already see the people coming out with videos talking about how unhealthy social media is, right? I don't know how long that's going to take. It could be 10 years, it could be 20 years, it could be 100 years. But think about it. The internet is still a baby. No, what is it, like 20 years old now or something like that? But in the terms of humanity, in the terms of like forever, it's still a baby. And what happens with the beginning lives of everything? You don't know what to do when something's a baby. You know what I mean? Is what I'm saying. Like, basically, I look at us all as like experiments, and we got this powerful thing called the internet released upon us. And in the beginning, YouTube was nothing like it is now. There was no TikTok, there was no Snapchat. It was just more so forums, and you know, we didn't know what to do with YouTube, right? We were just making prank videos and like anything. And now it's shifted over to what it is today, which the most money is made kind of from like the dumbest attention grabbing stuff for sure. But that doesn't last forever. I don't see that lasting forever. I see people getting tired of that eventually, and us moving on to something more helpful. Something like, and you do see signs of that now. Like, how many mental health, like, depending on what your homepage looks like, will basically tell us everything about you. You know what I mean? Like, what you're into. Even though I did notice, I feel like the algorithm kind of leans you towards the more like mindless type of stuff. Like, if I watch one philosophy video, I could watch 10 philosophies in the videos in the world. Like, every time I want to watch a Aldous Huxley video, I have to search it every single time. It will never be recommended to me. But if I watch one League of Legends video, my entire homepage will have that in it, and I have to click through and say I'm not interested in this. If I watch one basketball video, I will get 10 basketball videos posted on my homepage. I 100% noticed that. And if I look up a Carl Jung, Freud psychology video, it's not going to show up again. I have to go and like seek it out. And I'm trying to fix that. I'm trying to fix my homepage, and every time I see something that's like normal, like I don't know, time wasting, I don't feel like it's productive to me and my mental health, my productivity, and what I'm trying to do, I click that little not interested button. You know what I mean? Any like Drake and Kendrick beef. I have watched a couple of those videos, but you know what I'm saying? Basically, like, I think he's leaning a little bit too hard into the dystopianness of this perspective. And of course, this is his job. But it's our job to like counteract and snap people out of it who are actually falling for that, and not seeing that he's a satire. What do you call it? Satirist or something? It's a satire type dude, you know what I'm saying?
Tech companies have realized is that with the COVID era and all of the remote work, companies realize that not only can they do remote work, but that they can actually just outsource all workers altogether to third world countries where people are cheaper and people work harder. Americans especially can't compete. No one wants to hire Americans anymore. The American workforce is expensive, self-entitled, lazy, fat quite literally, and they tend to be social activists. Who wants that on their team? I suppose if you're truly foolish, you could even go to college and get yourself into massive student debt. And then
this dude really went all over the world with that selfie stick, bro. Look at me.
Try to dig yourself out of that debt through decades of wage slavery in a 9-to-5 cubicle, and maybe, just maybe, you might break even or even turn a small profit before you find yourself old and withered away from a sedentary lifestyle. Maybe sick and diseased, and having your savings destroyed with runaway inflation and ultimately discarded and replaced by AI or outsourced workers as companies burn and churn through their employees. I think there's just no more opportunity in the traditional 9-to-5 world. And so that's why I've decided to just...
I'm gonna pause him right there too, man, because I am so over the whole tech is dead narrative. Now, I'm not a professional. I don't know. I have a small perspective. I'm not in Google. I'm not in Silicon Valley, right? But where I am in my city, I'm outside. I walk into buildings, and all of the people around me are successful. They all have jobs. They all have opportunities. They all are getting new clients. There's startups that are starting. There's this company that just raised almost $3 million. And they sit next to me inside the same co-working space that I'm in. It's this company called Magazine Jukebox. I could pull up the article right now on LinkedIn. Look it up. They just closed their funding round. So what is up with the YouTubers and the tech industry being dead? And some people come into my comments and say that as well sometimes. They're like, dude, what are you doing? Tech is dead. I'm like, bro, I'm so tired of people saying that, bro, because to me it's not. Until I can't make anything happen, tech isn't dead. I have 3 separate clients that I'm working for right now, right? have a startup I'm working for. Two of those actually, and actually three. I mean, I guess TTP Tech is also a startup. Really, I have three separate, and that's with me being admitting that I'm not even at my final form. I'm not at my full potential. I'm not trying as hard as I could. That I need to fix my website and widen my net even more and get even more opportunities, because I know there's out there. People go to my website every single day. People are calling my business phone. Like, cut it out. You know what I'm saying? There are opportunities out here. People do have jobs. Yes, people are also getting laid off, but what is up, man? Like, what? When did everybody get so like, I can't do anything? I don't really get it, because there is a way. Where there's a will, there's a way. You know what I'm saying?
Just entirely stop trying to be productive. In late stage capitalism, which is where we're at now, there is no actual productivity left anymore. It's a zero-sum game, and there's only one way left for anybody to make money around here, and it is good old-fashioned classic, and this is my favorite, scamming. And so we have fees, convenience fees.
Are you serious? Are you serious, bro? He is a scammer. He is a scammer, man. He scammed his following with the crypto. Come on, man. What? He scammed everyone, made over $1 million, and is now traveling the world off that money. That's why he didn't have to make videos. And now he says scamming is... Come on, bro. What?
Tips upon tips. 20% tips, 30% tips. Hey, just give more. Inventing wars. There are GoFundMes.
That had to be a Freudian slip or something, man. You know what I'm saying? How the truth comes out on accident sometimes. What?
And charity donations for fake diseases like people pretending they have cancer. Dark patterns everywhere.
He's pointing out all these scams, but he's not gonna point out his, bro. What about that coin, man? Explain yourself.
Notice how every single iPad app is a monthly recurring subscription. There are credit card fees everywhere, speeding tickets for even going 5 miles per hour over the speed limit. They're not actually protecting the roads. They're not making anyone safer. It's just there to collect money for the government. That's what they're doing out there. Taxes going up without any apparent upgrades to any of the infrastructure. You've got hospital bill scams, insurance bill scams, HOA housing bill scams. Like with the HOA, sometimes you're
Crypto? No crypto scams? There's no crypto scams.
paying thousands of dollars and there's no service. There's not even a yard. There's no amenities, nothing. And what is this HOA fee for? Oh yeah, right, they're scamming you. And you have to remember, all of this is because we're in a stagnant economy. There's zero productivity, and whatever you're doing out there for your line of work, you just gotta keep in mind it's not productive. And if you want more proof that there's just no more work to be done and we have reached a stage of zero productivity, just look at Apple, which just completed one of the largest buybacks in history, where they had so much excessive cash, they didn't know what to do with the money. They couldn't find anything worth investing in, nothing worth research and development in. They didn't need to hire anybody. They just took that money and bought back their own stock. And I'll tell you what they probably should have done with that excess cash is just buy some Bitcoin with it. There was another company,
There it is. But yo, how y'all see that, man? Am I tripping? Let me know if I'm tripping. Please leave a comment if I'm tripping, bro. Prove me wrong, please. That this guy did not mention. I mean, he said, speaking about crypto like it's a good thing. I mean, I don't have anything against crypto, but he 100% ran a crypto scam on his people. And I mean, shoot, maybe he's like, duh, y'all already know that. But I'm trying to say now, hey, the whole world is a scam, so I didn't do anything wrong. So, you know, why don't you just not do any work and like what? Not do any work and scam? Come on, man. What?
medical company, Simler Scientific, which they took their cash reserves, put into Bitcoin, their stock went up 28% right away. When we take a look at the overall tech landscape, the metaverse failed, Web3 failed. You know, these could have been entire massive revolutionary industries that would have employed huge swaths of Americans out there. The whole industry was shut down by regulation. And so after that, we were eventually thrown back into the Web 2.0 era, a blast from the past of mobile apps, oversaturated, tired old app?
Is Web 3.0 over? You know what I'm saying? Like, is it? Is it over? I don't know. I'm kind of out the loop with crypto. I still have an amazing. Now that y'all. If you don't know my history, I'm a software developer. I started off as a crypto founder, and my biggest expense was my code reviewer reviewing the code that was being built by our team overseas of the crypto project, which was a metaverse, real estate slash like universal base income and digital real estate game that I was building. Think like a Grand Theft Auto mixed with The Sims, mixed with you're living and actually able to generate money within the game while playing it. Okay, that's basically what the concept was. And that's part of the reason why I learned to code, so that one day I can eventually build this. And I right now just waiting for regulation to get figured out, waiting for everything to happen. And I think I'm getting close to having the skills to start working on this thing on my own. And but I'm out the loop. I haven't been watching any crypto podcasts. I have not been keeping up with crypto at all. I need to talk to my homie Brian, who's still very much living in that world, and JD, and ask them like, hey man, what does it look like? You know what I mean? Are we good? Are we back to Web 2.0? I mean, I feel like this is a temporary thing. Blockchain technology is too good for us to just not eventually use it. I think that this is a very short-sighted take from a scamming, depressed type dude. You know what I mean? Could you imagine if the world listened to this advice and everyone just stopped working? I feel like that would suck. You know what I mean? But I mean, how many of us are unhappy? How many people are unhappy? And how many people need to go through that? And how many people have never done that before? Like, I have a unique perspective because I did live a life where I could work or not work, for a long time. I'm gonna do a little like life story video one of these days, and let y'all know, like, tell y'all my story for real. But let's keep it rolling.
Apps, and there's just no more opportunity there. Not only are consumers tired of these apps and they're vegetating on videos already, but all of the APIs and data that these third-party apps would traditionally have relied on in order to provide services are now being shut down and blocked off for AI. Right? No company wants to release their AI data anymore to anybody. And so nowadays, almost every single API is shut down and siloed off from one another to prevent the AI data scraping, thus incapacitating most third-party apps in the process. Now, some people are going to say, well, there's AI at least, right? There was a recent tweet by Meta's chief AI scientist who said, don't work on LLM. This is in the hands of large companies. There's nothing you can bring to the table. He says maybe instead you should work on some other next-gen AI system that lifts some limitation of LLMs. So I guess there's some opportunity there if you think you can bring about the next revolution of AI. Maybe get a PhD in that first. Another major headwind in tech worth mentioning has been deglobalization, where the world is starting to split into separate factions. And so whereas in the past tech companies had global reach, today, most tech companies have had their reach actively being blocked by other countries. Russia, China, the BRICS nations have raised their own digital firewalls. Tech companies are just not as profitable as they used to be, as they're now becoming domestic, local companies. In conclusion, some eras are just bad. Sometimes you just can't make money. The rich get richer, the poor get poorer. Tech is done. The STEM degree is done. Merit is done. Where nowadays working is like swimming upstream against the inflation and printing machine. I recently read the Bitcoin standard, and what I came to realize is that when the US came off the gold standard in 1971, it was quite the devious move actually, where through that, they unlocked the full value of the US GDP and household economy for taxation purposes. So whereas in the past, all they could do was raise taxes, but your personal property would always have value, it was backed by gold, now they could just print and inflate all of the US GDP value away. And so now we're paying off our debt by issuing more debt, with the US national debt rising by $1 trillion every 100 days in some death cycle. So given that, how do we succeed in this world? Well, first off, if you're working some 9-to-5 wage slave job, maybe you should just stop. It's a total waste of your life. But I have 3 suggest.
I don't work a 9 to 5, so I've actually considered it. I've thought about it sometimes. I will be honest and say that one of the things that I say all the time is like, I feel like I quit my 9 to 5 to work 24/7 as an entrepreneur, as a freelancer, as a software developer, as a builder, and but I like it, bro. I'm happier now than what I was before, man. I've done a lot of different things. I've lived a lot of different lives, and I would say that, like, take it from me, someone who is very experienced as far as like trying out different things. And if you're here, you follow me most likely for tech. If you follow this guy, most likely you're a techie, and I think that a lot of y'all would agree that while the world isn't perfect, I mean, duh, like, it ain't all about your money, right? You get a family, you get people that love you around, you know what I mean? Like, I'm pretty sure, if I remember correctly, he got divorced, and his kids are like lost his kids and stuff like that. So you gotta also be careful who you're taking your advice from. You know what I mean? He hasn't really said anything about what's really important in life anyway. Granted, this is satire. I'm not trying to act like he's serious. Don't get me wrong. I know that this is a joke for clicks, for this to happen like what I'm doing right now, reacting it, spreading it even more, possibly bringing him more attention and more AdSense revenue as well. But hey, you never know. Some people may be like really soaking this stuff in and being like, yeah, man, he's right. Which I'm ready for the smoke. I'll argue, no problem. If someone wants to, like, say, hey man, he's right, I'm cool with that, man. We all are entitled to our own opinions. You know what I'm saying? Let's keep it going, man. We got about 2 more minutes.
Suggestions. Number one is entrepreneurship. Now, of course, you're going to say, well, not everyone can be an entrepreneur. We weren't all made to be one. But you know what? People said the same thing about programmers as well. Hey, not everyone can be a programmer. And yet nowadays, everyone's a programmer. We just adapted to that. And so in the future, everyone may have to become an entrepreneur as well. And, we're not talking about some like Elon Musk, Jeff Bezos caliber entrepreneur, but even small business owners, hustlers, grifters, blue collar.
Is everyone a programmer? Drop that in the comment, man. Here's a question of the day. Out of every 10 people, 1 to 10 people, how many are programmers and how many have the ability to write code? What would y'all say? Out of every 10 people, would it be 1, 2, 3? Even if they wanted to be a programmer, could they? Is everyone a programmer? Will everyone one day be a programmer? I don't agree with that.
Collar workers like our.
We're usually the only people in the room. You know what I mean? Like, it's rare. At least in my circles, there's not a lot of us.
Gardeners, handymen, dog walkers, they all qualify as entrepreneurs actually, and many of them make more than some software engineer. Especially the laid off ones, and they're probably under less stress and have more free time as well. Now, this may be difficult, especially for those who have spent the majority of their childhood trained to be some 9 to 5 wage slave indoctrinated into the school education system. And even more weirdly, many of these people, perhaps including you yourself, still aspire to be some top-tier wage slave, climbing that corporate ladder in order to achieve some fancy title or that corner office, wear that suit. But you've just got to give that dream up if you want to succeed in the new world. The second consideration is we're no longer in a knowledge economy or anything science-based. We are in an attention economy, media-based. Most apps these days have already been replaced by influencers, content, video. And I'll tell you something, AI is not going to succeed as well, in my opinion, in the world of influencers because fundamentally there's no right or wrong answer. We don't live in an objective world, and so the right answer is whatever your favorite influencer or content creator tells you is the right answer. Whatever they tell you to buy, how to live, how to think, that is what you will listen to. You're not going to listen to ChatGPT. I mean, when you think about it, nobody even pays for ChatGPT Premium. They're starting to give that stuff out for free. And then the last suggestion, consider taking up a job as a Bitcoiner. Hey, it's not easy, and it's not for everyone to diamond hand and hodl all day long. It can be pretty tiring and tough, boring work, but it turns out the more you study Bitcoin, the more serious you become at it, the more you're willing to hold, and the higher your profits will be too, or your losses. Alright, anyways, I gotta get back to work, got some more hodling to do. See you in the next one.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know how serious he was about that, man. I want to go back and read the comments before we dip.
Alright, poor people. I'm back.
All right, let's see what we got here. I'm too busy making a new app that no one will ever use to finish watching this video. Everyone tells you to work harder. No one tells you to make more money. Good point. Dude's shit posting in video format. He's been gone for 5 months and then he comes back and he hasn't changed one bit. Yeah, they're not even printing. They're holding 0 down on the keyboard. I don't know if I feel happy or depressed after watching this, right? True, like this video is probably about to depress a lot of people. I feel like I need to go watch something motivating after that. I'm sorry y'all for bringing this to the channel for this type of vibe. I can't really understand why this guy makes me laugh so hard, but I keep coming back. True. Gotta like not take it serious. That's a good point. The ultimate skill is the ability to sit in a room, a field, or anywhere. You find yourself without a screen or other technology-based distraction for an hour or more at a time. True. You finally become a senior developer, Mr. Tech Lead. Like any sensible senior developer, you will retire and take up farming. Tech is dead. I was driving on a highway, I just stopped right in the middle. He's no longer Tech Lead, he's Tech dead. The sad part is a lot of people will think this is satire. Dang. See, so yeah, man, he does have some people who agree and believe. When I started studying at the university 15 years ago, I discovered just this, how corrupt the scientific community is. I walked in and wanted a PhD, but just got my engineering degree and wanted nothing more to do with the academic world. And to be honest, every engineer I talk with gets horrified when I say that the engineering education of 5 years should be cut in half to 2 to 3 years, and then go out into the real world and do some real stuff. The academia also suffers from inflation. And like you said, it's just fake in general. No one really cares about empiricism. I don't know what that is. What is empiricism? Very curious what this word means. Every time I come across a word that I've never heard of, I Google it. The theory that all knowledge is derived from sense experience, stimulated by the rise of experimental science developed in 17th centuries, expounded in particularly. Can we get an example? The idea that all learning comes from only experience and observations. All rationalism versus experience. Rationalism is knowledge derived from reason and logic. Oh, basically knowledge from experience. True. Well, that's it for now, guys. I think I'm about to go live, actually, and play some chess, kind of like decompress from this. Thank you guys for watching. I'm shooting, as you can see. Y'all remember, I quit playing video games, so you're going to be seeing me a lot more shooting videos. Please like, share, subscribe. We're on the road to 5K, so subscribe if you're not yet. Join the school, join the Discord, and I'll see y'all next time. Peace.